This is going to be all sorts of types of scuffed. But welcome. This I'm just going to say that I'm going to say that on live stream too. Welcome to BTL season 13, week 3, day 2. We're getting a little bit off to a fumbled start here today, but we should still have some fantastic gameplay coming forward. I am Etoe. You should probably know me, know my voice, know who I am, what I do around here, and I'm joined here in the booth by Celio. Celio.
Celio.
Celio. Okay. And we are here to watch Maria's Dungeon versus Puds in this week 3 match. This is actually the only team that is actually playing at their scheduled time. So even though we're off to a rumbled start because we had some problems with rosters, last minute submissions. We have an emergency sub on the side of Maria's Dungeon. That's going to be Everly Jinx playing in the ADC position. We're going to count them as D-2. And other than that, we should be good to go. We actually are here in the draft. Let me show the draft to the people. Ignore everything else on the screen. Just look at the champions. All the other names are wrong. They will be updated, and we're just going to do it live. And yeah, what do you have something to say about what this draft so far? Also, it's important to note the first ban is lost on the blue side for Marie's Dungeon because they do have an emergency substitute.
Yes, as we noticed, Maria's Dungeon is down one ban, but that is all right. As we're looking into these team comps already, I love the Aphelios pick. I've mentioned it before. Aphelios is one of my favorite ADCs, so I'm loving to see that pick. And then paired with Lulu. Lulu has a very strong presence right now in the bot lane, especially because enchanters are kind of coming back.
And I know Maria to be a big Enchanters player, so I'm looking for. Also, I'm pretty sure the guy that is playing Aphelios is like an Aphelios Callista two trick, if I
Oh,
remember correctly, from one of his. I mean, it's hard to it's hard to actually lock that down, but I'm pretty sure that is true.
if that is the truth and he is an Aphelios Callista bot lane player,
Hmm.
this is terrifying. Those are two of the most mechanical ADCs that you have.
That's true. That's true. So we could see some, and then that we could see some incredible mechanical. Honestly, now that I think about that, I'm pretty excited because we could see some pretty exciting mechanical gameplay from the side of Maria's Dungeon. Because I personally think Expo has been one of the best mechanical players in the league in BTL since he's been playing in BTL, which has been for like five years. We've had like four 1v1 tournaments, and Expo's won like two of them and got third in the third one. Ex-
Oh wow.
Expo has been traditionally one of the better mechanical players that we have. He has some of our best clips historically in BTL. So always
And
happy to
I
see
wonder,
Expo pop off, and then maybe Everly Jinx is also another pop off player. So we'll see.
I wonder if he can keep his highlight reel type of play style going coming into this match. Now we saw in week one, even though they did not win that game, he put up one hell of a fight.
Yeah, yeah, Expo does tend to do that. And on the other side, I feel they're up against like probably one of the more solid teams in terms. Well, actually, I don't remember the exact standings, but one of the more solid teams in that they are the most balanced team. Like instead of having like one particular person that's supposed to carry, they are pretty much all equal in rank. So I found them to be like a pretty relatively balanced team.
Of course, and Puds at a standing 1-1 right now, also the number two on our power rankings,
Mm. Oh,
going
oh,
against
the
number
power rankings.
three on the power rankings.
Ooh, that's very spicy. Because this is,
So
according to, if we have good faith in alls, then this should be an interesting game, I think.
I don't know. I have to keep an eye on that number Z.
Yeah, I'm about to say like, oh, the power rankings. If you didn't get a chance to look at the power rankings, they are in the hashtag Team Power Rankings channel that was recently posted yesterday. Made and just fantastically done one yet again by alls. We do appreciate the effort that they put into this, and it's just great. We have Spectre Gaming at 1, Performance Unenhanced Ducks at 2, Maria's Dungeon here at 3. It was just interesting that Maria's Dungeon is at 3 because they're 0 and 2, which means that there are three teams that have more wins than them that are below them in the power rankings. However, in those 0 and 2, first of all, they did not get 2-0. Like they won a match, they won a game in both of the matches that they lost. And also, let's see if we see particularly we're all set here. This team is 0 2, yes, but they moved up in the rankings. I know it looks insane, but hear me out. This team has the pieces. Expo in particular played out of his mind in week 2. This Maria's team just hasn't had quite things fall into place. Well, I don't need to read the whole thing. You can go read it yourself. But essentially, Alls has a lot of faith in this team performing despite what their record currently looks like.
I agree completely, and you mentioned that this team never lost 0-2. It was
Hmm.
always 1-2. And
Exactly.
always in that third game it was close. It was a nail biter. It could have gone either way, and I've had the pleasure of casting both of those games so far, and I have to say I think the power rankings are correct on this team.
Which is and which means that this is very exciting. I think it's very cool to see like this team is just like the underdog. Well, not even like the underdog. Like they're 0-2, but everyone still has faith in them. I think that's fantastic. You love to see that.
Oh yeah, and here we go. We are moving on to the client draft where we're going to see where the positions are. Uh, Looking at this draft though, which team would you say kind of has a little bit of an edge?
Okay, let me look. Let me look. So inside of Maria's dungeon in the top lane, we have the Maokai, likely, yeah, Maokai, Graves in the jungle, Veigar in mid, with the Phyllis and Lulu bot lane. Okay, okay. And on the other side, this is interesting. Looks like, wait, am I, wait, what's the, okay, so in the top lane, is that Sejuani
That
top,
should be a
or
Sejuani top,
is that
Karthus
Sejuani top?
jungle,
Cart?
Talia mid lane.
Okay, okay. Okay, we see Sejuani is locked in the top lane. Karthus jungle, Talia mid. At the very least, that is very incredibly interesting. And then we have the bot lane is going to be Sona, which honestly, I haven't seen Sona in forever. I forget she's in the game. It feels like ever since Seraphine's released, you never see Sona. It feels like things that Sona do, Seraphine also does, but like slightly better.
That's right.
But so
That's right.
I never really see Sona, so I'm interested in seeing that. And Sona and Zaya in that bot lane, I think we were saying that I think we have to focus on that bot lane and see what that happens with that Aphelios and that Lulu. And
Yeah, it's got to be scary. You're
yeah,
going up against a player you don't have a whole lot of time to look over. You don't really
exactly.
know what their core play style is about just yet.
True.
And so you have to walk into this match just testing the waters.
Hmm. That makes sense. Do you think that they chose a good bot lane to test the waters?
I think the Talia Sona combo is incredibly safe. They have quite a bit of range, they have quite a bit of, protect Zaya.
Yeah.
Um, but you also got to think about the low HP bars
That's what
down
I
there.
was thinking. I was like, Sona is notorious for having like one of the lowest HPs and being one of the squishiest characters in League of Legends. So imagine, see, if it was actually Blitzcrank, I think they'd be in a lot of trouble. If it was actually Blitzcrank, Maria having a good laugh there. If it was actually Blitzcrank, then I'd be like, oh god, fun Phoenix. But I mean, I think in terms of just rank specifically, this is one of the more solid bot lanes that we have on PUDs, on the side of PUDs. So I mean, we'll see. I think they'll be able to play safe and be able to play it out. And like Lulu Philios is more like a scaling bot lane. It's not too terribly aggressive. Like they don't have necessarily good engage, and there's not a lot of engage in general on the side of Maria's dungeon. Instead of
Very
like,
true.
I mean like
They have the Veigar
like
cage. They
like
have the
like like a
Maokai
Veigar
ulti.
cage and Maokai ulti is a strange engage because I mean unless you get a fantastic flank, it's very slow. But on the other side, they do have a lot of engage. I mean, Sejuani is by herself is engaged, and then Sona ulti is engaged. Talia could do some incredible stuff. Honestly, I'm excited to see some Talia gameplay because we used to have a few Talia one tricks that used to be like a jungle and a mid lane. We've seen a lot of great Talia play in BTL. At some point, people used to call the BTL the Black Talia League, because we would just see so much Talia, and it's always and she's like not a very common champion to see. So it was interesting that we saw so much Talia gameplay. So I would be happy to see it again. It's very interesting and
You know, I gotta say though, it's very dependent on Nerubius over here on his runes. If he goes first strike, he's gonna be very gank heavy. But if he goes Dark Harvest, he's gonna build to just one shot you from half HP.
yeah, that'd be interesting. And then that'll help. And then that helps them with their engage too. I think if they're able to get off a good Karthus ulti and then get off a good engage with Sejuani, then they may be able to just roll over this team and not have to worry about scaling. I think scaling is in the side of Maria's dungeon. I think if this game goes too long, I think it'll be pretty difficult for Puds to hold on. So I mean,
And
especially with the Philios and Lulu combination along with the Veigar, I mean, I think that's just very scary. So I think they do have to try to be aggressive, and they do have the team comp at least mid game to engage those fights first. I think that's what they should be doing.
I agree with you, but I do want to bring one thing up to you.
Hmm.
Last time I casted alongside Wookie here,
Oh yeah.
and I had mentioned to him that if he picks one particular champion, I know it's a shout out to me, and that is Vel'Koz.
Oh, oh man. Didn't see the Vel'Koz. That would have been very interesting here.
I
Would it
know
have
he's listening, and I just want to bring this up to him.
Oh man, missed the shout out. Oh wait, we have a whole endgame overlay to make over the next thing. This is still live. Hi stream. This is I was just we I since I was taking care of the administration of the different problems that we had, I just did not have where's my Maria's dungeon thing? That's crazy.
Yeah, it has been a little bit of a bumpy start that we had, so please bear with us on getting the
I'm so
stream
sorry.
together. Uh, it
I
shouldn't be too long.
Yeah, I actually hilariously lost the Maria's dungeon, but it's impossible. I've had this logo forever.
Forever.
Well, for a long time. Maria's dungeon first, I think, first appeared in like season 7. So we've had Maria's dungeon logo for a long time.
You know, one day I'm gonna get my team back together just for one last hurrah in this league.
It's always fun.
I don't even have the contact information of 2 of them, but I will find them.
Okay, what's this look like? Okay. We're also going with the there's also the old overlay because I don't have the new one fitted current for the current setup.
You telling me you
If
got one of
anything,
those 48-inch curved monitors?
not at all. I wish. Nah, nothing like that at all, actually.
He's got a 360 monitor. He spins in his chair to look behind him.
That would be awesome. That would be fake. Amazing. Okay.
He's got an entire monitor set up to watch the mini map.
You
He
know what I
turned that
do
bitch
have?
sideways.
I have a million tabs open, and you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to ping everyone that we're actually live. So, we've been talking to 3 people, but everyone, I mean, it's on the VOD. People can always go back and watch the VOD.
Shout out to those 3 people.
Yeah, truly, truly, truly. Maria's. This is a good time for you guys to get a background as to how production, the reality of producing, and how ever wonder how we sync up? Ever wonder how we sync up as casters? You see what we do is we're gonna pause at 5 seconds whenever the game loads in. And we're gonna say tune in now at. We're doing all this live. It's fine. Tune in now at twitch.tv/Black Twitch League. This is how I do it here. We're gonna say we are live with Mirror Dungeon versus Performance Enhanced. Next tune in now at Black Twitch League. We're gonna say hosted by moi, by yours truly. I'll say yours truly and Celio.
Yay!
We'll do that. We'll send that, and then I will pause the music that I should have already done. I've been talking about over this music this entire time, but the music is now paused. Okay, and while we will go back here to the stream, we're gonna open up OBS and hopefully it's being captured. Okay, yes, it is captured. We are ready to go. So now I'm going to give a countdown for my fellow caster here, and we're gonna do 3, 2, 1, play. So when I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, play. 6, 7, 8,
Yep.
9. All right, we're good. We're lined up, and now we are going to transition into the game scene. Boom! There it is, guys. There's the music. There's the magic. That's how the magic happens. And here we are. The players are going onto the rift, and looks like a 5-point start. Nothing
Yeah,
crazy.
both teams are looking up for something defensive. They just want to make sure that no early game wards are going to come out to track the junglers.
Oot Nerubius. Some stacks of phenomenal evil. I think is that what it's called?
Yes.
It's phenomenal evil power. We see Veigar has already 1 stack. I think WookieMonster is ahead of the game. Shout out to Wookie, also a
He's
producer.
already running this entire game.
Yeah. He's usually running the stream, now he's running the game.
I have to make sure that I watch him because if anything happens, I have to give him a hard time.
Yeah, next time, of course, of course.
We have casted far too many times together already, and we are going to make sure that we give each other a little ribbing every once in a while.
Of course. It's the best way. Oh, there's some early trades here, but now they're sleeping. Oh, but Talia rocks her. Hurts at level 1.
I loved playing Talia for quite a while when they gave her the AoE back on her Q.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, she was my main mid laner for a long time. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am an ADC player now
Oh, okay.
because I somehow always managed to find myself going to the weakest role. And so, yeah, I'm a resident bot laner now. I main Twitch. Uh, but life can be, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Captain Holden playing the Sejuani top. But this is the not this. I didn't. I'm not like I don't really play League like I used to. I really played competitively that seriously since like season 9 when I last like the last time I hit plat. I haven't really played since then. I used to be a player back in season BTL season like 4. That's whenever I won
Okay.
BTL. So which was like 20. I think that was also 2018, 2019. I think maybe 2018. So yeah,
Wow.
I haven't really played like I used to. So I don't even know what the current meta is because I don't play competitively nowadays. But is Sejuani top just like more of a thing now, or is this just like becoming a BTM meta, or is this just a thing by Captain Holden?
Sejuani top is now a thing. It was a thing about 3 or 4 patches ago when they buffed her overall.
Okay.
She started seeing a lot of play in the top lane, and Sejuani, due to her passive, does not need flash in the top lane. So you were able to go the teleport, the ignite, and give yourself both global presence and lane presence, even more so with that ignite.
Interesting. I didn't even notice that they didn't take flash. And I'm sorry. What was your explanation as to why they don't have to take flash now? Just.
The passive, when you're hit by CC, particularly non-hard CC like
Mhm.
snares,
Mhm.
she can't be slowed. She just gets to walk away from it.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Was that passive buffed or was it always like that?
I believe that is the gentle little rework they gave her.
Ah. Ooh, first blood
But
in the
as
top
we
lane.
see, Expo does make his global presence known already. Makes sure that first gank is off in the top lane,
Oh,
and
I just realized it's Grace versus Karthus. Different jungling styles.
very much so. Karthus, while he prefers to sit back and farm for a little while,
Hmm.
you have Graves, who likes to play incredibly aggressive, get
Right.
those ganks off. I miss old Graves, I gotta tell you.
Old Grace, but before he had the shotgun auto attack. Old Grace is that was a long time ago. Old Grace is very old.
Yeah.
That is an
I've
old
been playing since
reference.
beta.
Ah, I
So
see, I
I
see.
remember the days of Twisted Fate ulti was his E on a 30-second cooldown.
Yeah, I've seen videos of that. I never actually
Yeah.
played that, but I am aware that that's how it used to be. Been playing since 20 season 3, whenever I first started.
Yeah. Life was so much different back then. You could count the polygons on every character.
Yeah. True. Now we have all these different visual updates, and then it's so weird because there's some characters that are still the same as they were back then,
Oh, yes.
and it's like now they just look strange in the current game. On the current Rift, you can also count the polygons on the Rift back then too. The entire map is different.
That's true. One thing that I wish Riot would bring back, give us back the snow map on Christmas.
Yeah, the themed maps, that was nice. There's a lot of things that
Yeah.
I missed that was brought back. Do you remember the one year they did the 1v1 mode? The 1v1
Yes,
game mode? It was like I think it was like 2013, 2014 or something like that. And I
it
thought
was.
that was going to get brought back every year. The Snowdown Showdown, and I haven't seen it again. It was such a great idea. I don't understand why that they wouldn't bring that back. It was unfortunate.
People just got so salty.
The
I mean,
salty 1v1s, I guess.
I hate to say it, but when you don't have a team and you realize it's your fault,
That's
those players become a
yeah,
little bit harder to handle.
I see. I see. That's funny.
Um, though, have you been keeping up with any of the recent changes that are going to be hitting the Rift here soon?
I have not. I
It
think I
looks
saw
like
some
we
type of post
have
about it.
a mid-scope update
Mm.
for 9 different champions.
Oh. Oh.
This is very similar to when they did mid-season Magic,
Hmm.
and they updated all of the mages in mid lane, and that's when we saw Malzahar jungle rule the meta.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
Yeah, we are getting
Oh,
another
he's continuing
mid-scope
to
update.
make his presence known up here in the top lane.
That is very true. And we're going to see him now start to invade, but there's nothing there to invade. That is a free dragon as Expo is still in the top
Ooh,
side
ooh,
and
yeah.
spotted.
Well done by Garth is doing his thing. Hey, different games plays does not mean that one is successful and the other is not. They have different styles. Karthus is farming. He just needs to get to level 6 and he'll make his presence known once he's level 6. Don't worry.
Oh yes, you cannot afford yourself low HP bars against the Dark Harvest Karthus.
Oh yeah, true.
Right now we still see the fight over vision control in the early game as both teams continue to play neutral for a little while. You know, I have to say I have not seen a Sona played uh, in a match
Yeah, I
for
really.
a long time.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I haven't seen her in so long. Oh my God,
Ooh, it looks
Captain
like the
Holden's going
Singage.
in. Yeah, so, oh,
Yes.
and here's the
Oh,
ultimate
and
from
here,
Karthus. Oh,
ooh,
sleepy
Sleepy Voice
voice.
dropping so low right now. Manages to get out there. But that is the power of the top lane Sejuani pick.
Apparently so. Really went in there. Did a lot of CC, dropped him down with the ignite, and yeah, is able to run the ignite along with the teleport. That was also very interesting. Oh, here's an
Oh,
engage
and
here.
now
Oh,
we see
Aphelios.
Aphelios taking
Aphelios,
these
thanks.
fights. And it looked
Honestly,
pretty
I
good there for a
expected
while. He
more
still has the
damage.
shurikens.
I expected that person to get much lower, to be honest.
He didn't have enough time to get a lot of those shuriken autos off.
Mm,
When you have the weapon in hand, you have to stack up all those extra shurikens before you can throw out those hits. And
yes,
that
he
is one
didn't
of the
maximize the
tougher
damage.
things. Ooh, and here we see the
Ooh,
crescendo go out.
ooh.
Sliason managing to pick up the kill on its Soul Lady.
Also, another interesting thing about this bot lane, I just kind of thought about this. This is Soul Lady and Everly Jinx first game together, because Everly Jinx just is an Issa that just came in. So Soul Lady and Everly Jinx pretty much have zero synergy, and Silix and the bot lane of Puds has been, I'm assuming, together for a while. They are a cohesive team, so
Yeah, there
maybe
is
there's
going to be
some
a
gonna be
problem with
some,
communication.
yeah, there may be some things there. I was thinking like, oh, maybe there that wasn't quite perfectly communicated. Is they're just kind of trying to figure things out on the fly right now.
And if there's any bot lane that could do it, it would be its Soul Lady, as
Yeah,
she is pretty much the voice of communication on that team.
yeah. Is your team, and she's very experienced in competitive play, very experienced in the BTL. Of course, she's one of the BTL head staff members. If you don't know Maria, then you really haven't been here very long at all. So yeah, she's a solid player and knows what she's doing. Competitive, and she's been through this before. She's had to pick up subs and free agents on the fly before, so not her first time having to learn how to play with somebody new.
And here we're going to see how that communication starts to funnel into the mid game. How are these team fights going to go when you don't have somebody who's as experienced with your team as you
Hmm.
are? It's going to probably pose a little bit of an issue, but at the same time, I'm sure that they will find their way around this.
Right now it's 1-1, incredibly even on gold, and we'll see Expo is invading a bit. Oh, gonna see an engage.
It looks like this fight is breaking out towards the top side just a little bit. Captain Holden and Sleepy Voice getting just a little bit of damage back and forth.
A little bit of
This is
a
what I
wet
like to
noodle
call
fight.
the wet noodle fight.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I was thinking.
All right, and here comes the sniper and the slow combo. So there's going to be a lot of extra damage that pumps out here through Aphelios. Aphelios is able to proc the Q with range, and not a whole lot is going to come down from that. I did expect a little bit of an engage there,
Hmm.
considering your next weapon was your shurikens.
Mm.
So I definitely expected a little bit more of a fight to break out there, but they do want to continue to play neutral for a little while and continue the CS game.
They're even on CS. I did not expect the CS to still be even there, but it is even. So you're gonna engage in the mid lane.
All right. And the dragon will be spawning in 20 seconds. Both teams are alerted to it. Both teams are wanting to get vision control over
What's the
this.
teleport situation in top lane? Neither top lane has teleport, so maybe a 4v4 for this dragon.
Ooh, it looks like Nerubius might be in a little bit of trouble, but
Ooh.
WookieMonster is very low on
Oh!
HP. Expo does drop very low, but they do manage to get the kill onto
Ooh.
Nerubius. Now comes the final Requiem, and they do manage to pick up the kill back onto Expo.
Now it's a 3v3. Well, WookieMonster's quite low, so maybe not quite. And that looked like it could be Pud's dragon, right?
Both junglers are down right now, so this dragon can very easily be contested. And
Yeah,
it
they decided
looks
not to
like
go
they're going to
for it.
let it go.
Fair enough. It's a bit of a risk.
And in
Oh,
a
look at this
situation
ward.
like this,
That
you don't
was.
want to give anything.
Oh, they're completely. It's completely known that they're in there because of the ward in the previous bush.
That is true, and it looks like
Yeah.
we might see them. I was gonna say we might see them try to make something happen here off the back of that vision. If you're on the side of Puds, you need to start looking at the spot lane a little bit more. You have to target what you would consider at that time to be the weak link, which
Hmm.
is the lack of communication.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, I'm not sure if they've had that thought to target it. And also, I mean, their bot lane's doing very well, pushing up against them. They've pretty much been pushed up this entire time. Maybe that's why they haven't really targeted. But they could try to like get like a Talia and so everyone like rotate over. There's good vision here on this dragon, so they're 100% where the dragon's being done. Looks like they're going to give it up, and Expo's just going to go for the what's it called? The
Yeah,
thing up there in the top, the Rift Herald.
it it looks like they are going to give this up. They did have full vision on that. They
Hmm.
knew it was happening, and they decided to go for the Rift Herald instead.
Which fair enough. I think it was at that point there's nothing they could really do. So try to get something out of it. See what they'll. It's more interesting to see what they'll do with the Rift Herald. You see the shoving continues in the bot lane, but the CS is still even.
Right now, the main CS difference we're seeing on the map is in this top side, as Maokai is up 20 CS,
Oh, true.
and he is up 700 gold.
And looks like potentially up a tower. Will this do that much of the tower?
It will deal 2.5 tower plating, so that this tower will
Ooh.
survive, but it looks like the Sejuani Bolo is going to come out, and now Sleepy Voice is in a little bit of a hard situation. He is going to drop the
Oh,
ultimate as
WookieMonster
Landon
made it.
drops incredibly low. WookieMonster is now here, and it looks like this fight is going to turn onto Nerubius, as all three members gank around him, and there's nowhere for him to go. He does fall here. Looks like Landrin, even though he is very low, that little seedling might be enough!
Oh! Oh!
Oh!
Wow!
8 HP as Landrin calculates that and walks out, but Expo
Ooh!
manages to pick up the kill with the smoke bomb.
Ah!
Now Expo is in a little bit of a dangerous situation. He's here one-on-one with Captain Holden, and now Captain Holden sees
Ooh!
this, and he's going to lay down a little bit of the aggression. Expo dropping incredibly low, the kill will come down. Now it is 1v1 between Sleepy Voice and Captain Holden. Captain Holden's incredibly low here,
Oh
goes under the
wow!
tower, and manages to survive.
Oh, but the
But
tower.
the first tower does go down at the hands of Demolish. Now, that was after 14 minutes, so it wasn't that last little bit of tower plating.
Hmm. Well, a lot of things happen in the top lane. Looks like the shove continues. They have just been shoving out this bot lane, and that's going to reward them with the tower. I will say it's impressive that the CS is. I feel like personally, just personally, as not that great of a player, whenever I'm getting shoved at it, it's hard to keep up on CS. But this Philippines have been CSing on the tower very, very well. In fact, wait, these ADCs have like perfect CS right now.
They are pushing for perfect
They have
CS
they
at the
have
moment,
nearly
yes.
perfect CS right now, which, as you're getting shoved into the tower, is really impressive to me.
Yes, that is definitely the hands. That Aphelios is in the hands of a player who knows that damage. He knows how
Right.
to CS even when those minions fall to awkward HPs.
Hmm.
And because of that damn near perfect CS, we see that both of these ADCs are still about even in these builds.
Which is, yeah, I wouldn't expect that. That's impressive.
Looks like we're going to see a little bit of a lane swap as now Captain Holden is going to add a little bit of pressure in that bot lane. And we see Everly Jinx and Soul Lady now in the mid lane.
Yeah, matching the Silicon and Fun Phoenix as well.
This is definitely becoming a closer game. This mid game is very tight so far. Neither team necessarily has that advantage at the moment. Alright, pings are coming down as we see Maria's Dungeon starting to rotate top lane. But they, after being caught out, after being spotted by Vision, we see both teams back off that top lane. Continue to play neutral. Everly Jinx does take quite a bit of damage there. The recall on those feathers do quite a bit of damage, the more
Ooh,
feathers that are there. Captain
Sejuani
Holden wants this fight over here with WookieMonster and will manage to
with the
find it a little
ignite.
bit. The ignite comes down. I'm going to assume that's just to push WookieMonster out of lane.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, just scare him a little bit. Oh,
We call that a ignite for dominance.
yeah. Oh, a teleport coming to the top lane, so giving Wookiee the opportunity to back off, but able to hold the tower. Okay.
So Sleepy Voice does use the teleport there, and as we see, Dragon comes up in 30 seconds,
Now so
and
far,
that will give Captain Holden TP advantage.
ooh, true. And so far, the dragons have been completely in favor of Puds.
And so this is a very dangerous situation right now. If I'm Sleepy Voice, I know this dragon's coming up. I gotta move down. I just used teleport to save this tower. I can't afford to keep this split push
Mm-hmm.
going. I have to be there to protect my team.
Yes, especially the Maokai is incredibly important in this team fight. Coming up, we're going to see the Maokai starts walking down. The dragon spawns in 8 seconds. Maokai looks like he'll probably make it, maybe a little bit late. We also have the Veigar is currently in the bottom lane, so Veigar
The
won't be
death
here. So,
bush.
oh,
Keep your eyes on this
but they're
death
aware.
bush.
Oh,
Expo
Expo
does get caught by the death bush, and
ulted.
the Sejuani solo is going to come out here. And now it looks like Captain Holden is deep into all four members of the team.
Woo!
Sliason is dropping incredibly low. Nerubius falls at the hand of WookieMonster on top of the dragon, and now it's Captain Holden pushing off the rest of that team.
Those those Zaya
They
blades, Zaya
are.
feathers really hurt.
They're going to look to do this even though they're down their jungle. They're trying to zone Expo off of this, but WookieMonster is on the
Ooh,
backside. His eyes are on Sliason as Sliason drops incredibly low.
ooh.
WookieMonster now trying his best to stay alive, but falls at the hands of Captain Holden. That is a shutdown.
And meanwhile, they get the mid lane tower, so they were able to delay it and get the tower, and able to stop
Stopping
their
the backs,
recalls. Okay,
making
another
sure that
another
their backs
recall.
are canceled. They might look to stop these backs one more time.
Did they look to do the dragon themselves? Zaya's walking up from bottom.
Expo is here if they can manage to pump out enough damage onto this dragon before
This is.
Nerubius gets there, but
Oh,
it looks
Nerubius
like
is
this
here.
is
The
now
teleport is
going to be a
coming.
smite battle. And we spoke about Captain Holden and this TP, and it looks like
Oh,
Karthus does steal the dragon Nerubius with a beautiful smite to steal that. And now they're going to walk out and they force another teleport, even though they're going to just walk out of this.
okay. Yeah, teleport came a little bit late as it was already too late for the dragon. So yeah, teleport didn't end up being too useful there. But do they? I guess they go and they try to. They need to hurry up if they're gonna do the river. They need to start it soon. They need to hit it like now. Okay.
We see
And then
all of them
they need
are
to kill it.
there. They have 5 seconds left on this.
They
This is the
gotta kill it.
great battle.
They gotta kill
Three,
it. Oh
two,
my god.
1. Oh, they got it. No, they didn't.
They
They
did not get
didn't
it. They
get it.
didn't get it. Oh
Oh
no.
no.
I hate to see it.
It was so close. And we saw that Expo use Smite on that.
Mm,
So
hmm
now Expo's got 1 charge left on the Smite. He's going to have to play very carefully. He does have the red Smite for these 1v1s, but he's not really finding himself in 1v1 situations anymore. This is beautiful rotating at the hands of Puds. They are always moving as 5, they are always stacked, and they are making sure that, for the most part, waves continue to kind of go in their favor.
And that's what they gotta do. I think the best way to end games in the mid game, you have to play together as a team, do objective gameplay. Because again, we said that we don't want this game to go too long. We don't want them to scale to infinity and beyond, and the Vagar's already doing pretty well. And also, the Philios has no kills, but has the most CS in the game.
He
So
does. And he's earned himself a shutdown over being farm
just
fed.
just because of his farm, he has Zaya's 1-0-2, but Philios is richer than Zaya.
That is very true. Just because, CS is so very important.
Hmm.
As we see in professional play, a lot of these pros have learned to maximize their CS,
Right.
even if it affects their laning phase as a whole.
CS, we used to have a saying in BTL of yesteryear that CS is key. There used to be a whole team that was just their whole moniker. CS is key. So we would
Yep.
every single time we'd ask them for the MVP, like, well, who got the most CS this game? All right, they did it, and CS is key. So I think we have an emote in our Discord server still that says CS is key. So I feel this
That
right
is
now is
fantastic.
definitely showing that CS is key. The
Ha-
key to
have we
success.
found out if Everly Jinxed might have been on that team? Because he's definitely got the moniker down.
Yeah, I see that.
Alright, we are now starting to approach mid to late game. Around the 27
Ooh,
minute
just
mark,
barely missed um
that bolo
Everly Jinx
was
there.
that bolo was just a hair off.
Hmm.
Uh, the average game length in Black Twitch League that I have seen so far has been around the 29-minute mark. 27-minute mark would be the late game. So
And
we
we
are
are approaching
rapidly
that.
approaching
Yes,
that.
we are.
I have to say, I have only seen one or two Zayas this season as a whole, uh, but this Zaya knows their damage very well.
Yeah, both of these ADCs they're playing very well. I'm looking forward to the late game team pop-offs. I think the ADCs are going to be a large part of it. Both of them are good scaling ADCs, and both of them are pretty well farmed here.
Now, there's one big problem with the Felios as a whole, and that is that there's really no point in the game that is considered a massive power spike for you.
Mm,
Uh, Aphelios is one of those slow climbing ADCs that get better and better as the game goes on and they get more items, but
but they don't have like a
they are
big
in,
power spike level time.
yeah, there's no equivalent to like Talia building Ludens is a massive power spike for Talia.
Right.
Uh, Aphelios doesn't really have one of those. He just consistently does a little bit more and more damage as the game goes on. So it's going to be really exciting to see how Everly Jinxed takes this power in this mid to late game. Only
Ooh,
3 towers have gone down as a whole here. Expo does get a little bit caught out here, forcing the wild growth, and now Nerubius has found his way into this fight. We see the teleport coming out from Captain Holden on the side, as
all right.
WookieMonster
Maokai
is
is
here
going.
as
Ooh.
well.
Oh.
WookieMonster now is a
Oh.
little bit caught out.
Oh.
The slow by the Bolo does keep him
Alive
relatively
though.
still and forces the flash.
Maokai recalled instead of teleporting down. Maokai, what great patience by Maokai, and they're doing on the way pings to the Baron. Are they going to give up the soul for the Baron? Well, this better work.
This
This better
is
work.
this is an
Oh wait.
incredibly dangerous
Okay,
call.
okay, because okay, the Nerubus is going to continue the dragon, and they're going to go and contest the Baron. So now they
He,
don't. Now they don't get the Baron either.
this was a
Oh
very
no.
risky call, and now that the call has failed, they're putting themselves in a very dangerous situation. Yes, Cloud Soul may not be the end all be all, but it is very important
Ooh.
nonetheless. We see WookieMonster does get blown up there by Landrin, and now it is a matter of how do they keep this game alive in their hands as we see them starting the Baron.
Oh no, the Baron that Maria's dungeon wanted to do, but they weren't able to do it. They probably should have just contested the dragon. Now it looks like they're gonna lose both.
Very, very dangerous play,
Oh,
and
there's
we
the
see the
oh.
repercussions. The red team has
Ooh.
slain the Baron, but it looks like they want to go on the back of these Baron debuffs. Now it's Soul Lady forced to flash away. Sleepy Voice nowhere to go, dropping very low.
Oh
They do
no.
manage to let him go. This the name of the game now is performance unenhanced ducks.
Yeah. Although they're still technically down 400 gold, it doesn't feel like that. You wouldn't think that. And the thing is, it's always funny to me. Whenever you're actually in the game, like when you're not from the spectator position, you don't actually know if you're up or down on gold. It's just a feeling, right? Like
Yep.
you can just like guess. You can hit tab. You can look at items. You can look at CS. I think right now, whenever you just lost two major objectives like that, you probably feel like you're down on gold, and I think that kind of changes how you play. So I imagine Maria's Dungeon probably doesn't think that they're equal on gold right now, because I wouldn't think so. I guess maybe Aphelios thinks that because he has a million CS, but he's also they also need these towers. They're going down. As these towers go down, they will no longer be equal on gold. We see the
This
gold has
is
shifted in favor of
a
Puds.
really nice Baron power play so far.
Yes, it is.
They managed to find themselves a tower immediately off the rip. We see Nerubius the split pushing in the bot lane, and now it looks like the whole team is going to go down there and
Oh.
answer the semi-free tower, minus Landrin, who's going to keep pressure going. Uh,
Ooh.
ooh.
Oh, Son of Lips. Oh, there's the ult.
Oh,
Oh!
the Infernum ultimate does blow up multiple people, and now we see that Landrin's in this tight situation as well. A Sleepy Voice is up close, but does manage to pick up the return kill on Expo.
Okay. Aphelios hurts. That's like the first time I've seen Aphelios really do damage in a team fight, and it was just his ulti.
Yes, that Infernum ultimate. For those of you who don't play a lot of Ophelia, so you're not keeping it in mind, his ultimate fires a massive blast from his main weapon, dealing different effects per weapon. In that situation, he had the Infernum. The Infernum then will land on top of your character, dealing damage in an AoE around your character. So the more people hit by it, the more damage done. And as we saw there, it was massive DPS output there. We see Fun Phoenix dropping half health, but does manage to get out okay. And now it is escape for WookieMonster as he's trying to run out of this
Oh
jungle, but is
no.
being chased by two. The
Oh, the
Bolo comes
ulti.
out, but it does not find
Oh
anybody. Now
no.
we see WookieMonster
Oh,
dropping
Wookie.
incredibly low,
Oh
nowhere to
no.
go, falls at the hands of Nerubius.
Oh no, that's not the first time this came for Wookie. That's not the
We
first
did
time.
see Rookie go from 3-1 to 3-3.
Yes, true.
That is gotta feel a little bit tough, especially when you know these teams are moving as 4 or 5 at almost all times. And now we see another turret picked up right as the Baron ends, and that Baron power play was worth 4,500 gold.
True. And now the lead is definitely, unquestionably, in favor of Puds.
They have opened up the map completely in their favor. As we see, the top lane still stands. The top lane outer and inner turret are both still standing, but outer turrets at this point are just free gold.
Yeah, true. They won't really be able to hold that much longer, and it's not even worth it for them to attempt to hold it.
I was going to say, if they manage to take that tower out and find the perfect engage on you, top and bot lane are very long between those turrets.
Hmm. Yeah. See, now we see Wookiee's up here attempting to defend this. I don't think this is worth it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think Wookiee is making that decision as well.
I was going to say I would let it fall, I would let it go. There's no
Really.
reason to
Let
divert
it
any
go.
I wouldn't divert any real resources to keeping an outer tower alive.
Yes, of course. Especially at this point in the game.
It is now 1 minute until Elder Dragon
Oh boy.
spawns.
All right, that dragon they can't give up. They've given up every other dragon. That one they can't do. They can't give up. I think that one will lead to the end of the game.
And look at this vision control in the bot side by Puds.
Yeah, look at all those
They
red
have
wards.
6 wards.
Oh my goodness.
We see a little bit of ward cleanup coming out here, but it's hard to do when you have no idea where the rest of that team is. And now it is going to just be a little bit of a back and forth. They're going to find themselves
Whew.
in a fight here shortly. This fight is going to break out any moment now.
And like I said, like now this is where Mirror does I think is suffering from not having engage. If they could get an engage at the up, that they could be up.
Oh no!
Oh
As we
no, the
see
Aphelios
the engage
ulti.
is coming out, and now Sleepy Voices dropping to half health. The Aphelios ulti did miss, which is quite tragic as we see this fight continuing now. Captain Holden incredibly tanky, able to tank so much damage before having to find themselves in a situation
And
to
they
back off.
already used the Maokai ulti. They used
That
the
is true.
Aphelios ulti. They've What is
Elder
the
Dragon has been started. We see the final Requiem come out as Expo does fall to half HP. Now this damage is ticking over time. We see Maria's
oh my
dungeon is
goodness.
forced onto the back foot here. Captain Holden does take a little bit of damage, but it is only a little bit as they fall to about half.
Had to
And
make something happen. Oh, there's the
there is the
engage.
flash engage by Sleepy Voice, but nowhere really to go as he dies incredibly fast. And now it's Captain Holden who is taking it.
Unfortunately, it's
Wookie
the
Monster
Karthus that dies, not what you want.
WookieMonster does manage to pick up the kill onto the Karthus, and now with Expo still alive, never
Ooh.
mind, Expo exploded, and that is Elder Dragon.
Yeah, they tried. They did their absolute best. Now they're on it. Now they're on Aphelios. Let's see
And
what he
what
can do.
a
Oh God!
beautiful wall. That wall was perfect.
Oh, he could do nothing.
Black Talia League is still a thing.
Yeah, apparently so. Oh man, and does that rotate into a Baron as well? I'm not sure they even need that, but okay, why not?
They are just making sure they have everything they need in order to end this game. You
Very true.
know, in a situation like this, I wouldn't mind also turning my attention to the Baron and looking for one last fight when you've won the other two so dominantly.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate for Maria's Dungeon. There were multiple things there that went poorly, and this is where I was going to say like this is where the team composition could also like kind of come into effect because they didn't have a good way to engage. Like their engage ended up being Maokai flashing in. That's not ideal. That's not your ideal engage. Like they couldn't make much off of the Veigar cage. The Aphelios ulti from a flank position didn't land. It was just multiple things there, and it was just like so much easier. The person that they were able to kill ended up being Karthus, which it doesn't help you in a team fight. So that was just all sides of sad.
Yeah, taking out the Karthus, all it really made him do was sit there and pump out a little bit of extra damage. But now
Right.
we see WookieMonster does manage to go in onto the Karthus, manages to drop into about 20% HP, but nothing more is going to happen there. Elder Dragon is looking incredibly scary right now. We see the Requiem coming out, and that is half HP bars
Mm-hmm.
on a good 40% of that team.
This is a really tough defense. This is a really tough defense. I don't think he can do it actually.
With the Baron minions pushing, dealing
Yeah.
so much damage,
Baron
this is a
plus Elder. Yeah.
they do want to back off here instead of going for their end. They're going to
Go
take the
top.
top lane.
Okay.
Now,
Ooh.
I don't think this was necessarily the play. I think you had the game in your hands there.
Mm-hmm. Do that.
Um,
Now they're playing a little bit too safe here. And also running down their timer. They do have a timer for their buffs here.
that is very true, and that
So,
timer is not going to last much longer.
and if you're Maria's Dungeon, you're happy for any type of delay. Okay. Hakuho's going to come and take some damage.
Captain Holden does fall
Landrin
very
as
low.
well.
Landrin dropping even lower at the hands of the Shurikens. As I mentioned, you got to be very careful. Captain Holden does manage to tank that Aphelios Q, dealing very little damage to Captain Holden as he's built against that particular build. That one does hit Landrin, but now there is no Chakram left.
Okay, so they lose an inhibitor and 3 towers, I think.
That is true as we see the Elder Dragon is now worn off.
And we're getting to
So
the
it
point
is
in the game
just
where
Baron.
the gold difference doesn't matter as much. Now it's just like scaling once everyone's like full build. That doesn't really matter as much. We're approaching full builds for some of these characters.
At this point in the game, it's death timers.
Hmm.
Find a pick and move with it. Diverting their attention down to bot side now as they're looking to pick up the last inhib turret in the game. The Bolo does miss here as now Captain Holden is a little bit caught out, finds himself in the middle of 4 people as the Maokai ulti does drop as well. Now we see the Infernum ulti come out and not a whole lot of damage done.
Oh,
Here's the Talia
oh,
wall comes out.
oh,
Sleepy Voice is alone on this side of the wall as he does manage to
oh!
get out, knocking Captain Holden back. Fun Phoenix dropping incredibly low. Expo dropping the Rubius even lower as Puds does get to walk out of this alive. And now we see the Requiem. Not enough damage.
Oh, this tower is full health, but the minions are coming in through mid. Minions are crashing mid. And would you believe it? The Elder Drake is less than 2 minutes away now. The next
This
one.
is going to be another Elder Dragon game.
We'll
We are
see.
looking at nearly a 40-minute game so far.
Oh, oh
Ooh,
no. Oh, maybe not.
maybe
Maybe.
not, as Landrin does manage to get caught or
Oh,
does
Sleepy
catch
goes in.
out Wookie there. Sleepy
Oh,
does go in, dealing a lot of damage.
Oh,
Everly Jinx is in a
Aphelios.
very rough situation,
Ooh,
manages to
ulti.
stay alive, flashes the Talia Q. And now Puds is still adding pressure on this bot side. We saw objective bounties are now
Aphelios is back.
available, but it is a hard game to get those objective bounties. Nerubius
Oh,
does get
the
knocked into the
ultimate.
tower, but it looks like not much is going to happen here.
Oh,
Slyasin picks up the double kill, managing to take out Expo.
and they're recalling. And the recalls here.
This is a
And they're
questionable
probably
decision.
go. Okay, okay. Maybe they don't recall. Like the dragon is spawning in 36 seconds. Aphelios.
The Bolo does manage to come out, and now Aphelios does have the Moonlight Vigil available and active to him. So many wards down over there.
Mm, truly. And 15 seconds. Another Elder Dragon. I think they're gonna use that to end the game. I think at this point, certainly, that should be the the case. I think. Teleport
Elder
coming
Dragon
in.
has officially spawned and touched down, and now we see that Puds is jumping onto this pick immediately.
Sleepy voice looking for positioning here. Oh,
The
Expo's not
Requiem,
here. Expo is
Expo is
not here.
not here.
The dragon is very low, and it'll be
Oh
confirmed
no.
by the red team.
That is a hard situation to find yourself in. Now we see
Yeah.
Baron is spawning in 10 seconds,
Oh
and
god, do they go for the
they
Baron? I don't think they
they are
should.
not. They are not
Yeah.
going for the Baron.
Okay. Fair.
They did ping it though. They know it is spawning.
They're aware. They're thinking about it. Okay. Two inhibitors down. Oh!
Oh
I
my
was thinking. I was
goodness!
thinking. At some point, Vagar's gonna be able to do that. At some point, you. I mean, even if he was 3, 4, and 5 is like that. Even if he was doing poorly, at some point, Vagar is going to be able to just one shot somebody.
That is true. Vagar does have that infinite scaling, and it does give him a ton of ability power, especially at this point in the game.
Yeah, Vagar has 764, has 252 stacks of phenomenal evil power,
That's
and that
two
can get.
Rabadons.
Yeah, and that can definitely go higher.
And as we see, he does have this Rabadons as well, which is giving him an additional 200 ability power.
He only has 3.
He's
Yeah,
got
only
3
yeah, yeah,
items and
yeah, yeah.
boots.
Only has 3 items right now. 3 items and boots. So still lots of lots of potential for more. Maybe a void staff somewhere.
I would be remiss if I don't see that Void Staff. Especially against Captain Hold'em right now, who is tanking the majority of your team's damage. And we
True.
mentioned this Baron, and their eyes
They
are
are.
onto it.
They are in fact gonna go for it. The Baron is very low. They do not have their jungler.
They back off it for some reason here. Expo not quite there yet.
They're
They
able
did
to
have the
scare him
damage to
enough
do it
to.
in time.
Hey, if you're Murray Dungeon, the name of the game is delay, 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 delay. Don't even fight. Just delay. If you can delay anything, then things you're happy. Delay, delay, delay. The
They are
longer you are
back
alive
onto
that you
this.
haven't lost, there's more of a chance for you to win.
That is very true, as now we see the ultimates are coming out. The Moonlit Vigil did come out, only hitting Captain Holden. Not much damage to be done
Before
there.
Venus
Red
gets
team
low.
does manage to pick up the Baron Nashor, and now this fight is going to continue, as Captain Holden does look like he wants a little bit of the Singage. Sleepy Voice is dancing back and forth, and now it looks like they're turning their attention to the
To the
bases.
base. They're racing to the base. Oh, Aphelios.
Everly Jinx
Oh
gets one shot with the help of Elder Dragon. Landrin managing to pick up that kill, and now they are in this base. WookieMonster forced to drop the cage a little bit early, and WookieMonster ulted a full health target.
no! Oh
Not a whole lot of damage to
no!
be found there.
Oh
Slyasin does
no!
manage to pick up Expo in the background, and
This is
now
gonna be game.
Slyasin is holding the rest of the team
There it
back, as
is.
that is GG.
Yeah, the minions are gonna do it. A 40-minute game 1. 9 to
Ooh,
17, a battle, an interesting battle, because it felt like Pudge was kind of like in the lead the whole time, but they just needed to end it. They just needed to get to the point to end it, and it took them a while, but eventually they did manage to end it. So it did get ended, and that's gonna be game one victory going over to Puds.
definitely. That was a little bit of a scary situation. It seemed like they were having trouble finding their way of ending that game.
Yeah.
Uh, they definitely had fear for WookieMonster there. They knew how much scaling he had at that point in the game, and anybody getting caught by a Vagar cage is going to die in that situation.
Yes.
So they were while they were having trouble coming to their victory in that game, they still managed to play the objectives very well. They managed those objective fights. They managed to secure each of those objectives. And whenever it looked like it got a little bit too dicey, they just backed off completely.
Truly, truly. And we see that the three most damage dealt in the game were all on the side of Puds. The most being done by the looks like Talia. Zarathai with the 33,000, then the mid lane with 31k, and then actually no, the jungle first. Karthus with 32k doing the second most, and then third most being done by Landra on the Talia, and then it comes over to the Ophidios and then the Vagar. But yeah, Pud's in the lead the whole time there, so we will would have ended earlier if Captain Hold It landed an R. says says Leosin, says the ADC there in the chat, and we will
My
go
goodness.
to a short break as we will reconvene here for game two. In the meantime, I don't even have music ready. We'll just go to a little silent.
Boo-doo-doo.
Yeah,
Boo-doo-doo.
a silent break. I'll just go ahead and deafen, and we will get ready for the next game. looks
Welcome.
like the teams are ready to start the draft here for game two. On the blue side now it's Puds. On the right side, on the red side, I should say, is now Maria's Dungeon. Puds won game one in that long game, but it was still felt kind of dominating, but it was a long one, so I don't know if you can call it dominating, but it felt like they were kind of in the lead the whole time. So that's why it felt like kind of dominating. But yeah, here we are with the first ban being against Vex. Vex and Viego. Maria's Dungeon still losing their first ban because they still have their emergency substitute. And I'm here in the booth with Celio. Hey,
Celio.
Celio. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Celio.
Is this gonna become a habit? Do I gotta?
Yeah, probably. It's gonna.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's alright. I'll change my name later.
It's all good. I will get better at it.
For those of you who are tuning in between, and you missed game one, Maria's Dungeon did lose out on a ban because they do have an emergency sub in the ADC role. And now that bans are finished, we see the Seraphine instantly picked up. Now, Seraphine has been a dominating force throughout this entire league.
And yeah, but so now they're picking up Betasona. Was Seraphine banned last time? Let's see.
Yes,
Oh,
Seraphine
okay.
was banned at the
Okay,
hands
so
of
that-
performance on the hand stocks.
Oh, they banned. Okay, so now that they have B1, they pick Seraphine. Fair enough.
That's right.
So
This was a very smart decision, especially against its Soul Lady. You want to keep her off of that Seraphine.
Yeah. We'll see the Aphelios again. Did we like the Aphelios last game? Is the question. One thing is he CS incredibly well, but did that actually amount to success? I think is a question. Wait, is there a thing?
Yes,
Aphelios?
it looks like
Okay.
Aphelios is supposed to be that first pick. As we see there, it looks empty, but it is the Aphelios pick.
Okay.
And here they are going to pick up the Karma. Now, Karma is very good at this moment in time. Mages have found themselves in a pretty decent spot. And then you are still questioning yourself, is that Karma top lane? Is that possibly Karma mid lane? Or is this the standard Karma support?
Yeah.
I love that Gangplank pick.
There is a time in this league where around the time where Karma was played everywhere, where we would definitely have like multiple games within the same weekend where Karma was played like in top, support, and mid. Like we definitely had that situation where people played those enchanters top. It's a fun time. I did enjoy watching those teams play. And Gangplank is a fun champion, no matter what. Like it's just the potential for ridiculous plays. Just seeing barrels blow up teams. It's just a fun concept. You don't see it too terribly often, so I'm always excited to see potentially what could happen.
It looks like that next pick is supposed to be Hecarim.
Oh man.
It looks like there's a little bit of an issue coming out from Maria's draft here.
Oh no. What's happening?
I believe they are having a little bit of trouble with the draft here. They banned the Talia here. Gangplank has been one of my favorite picks for quite a while. I just love the idea of the amount of counterplay that Gangplank has. He has the remove scurvy to break all sorts of stun or CC onto him.
True.
He has true damage in the passive that he can reset with the barrel.
Very true.
The parlay does a ridiculous amount of damage depending on how you build.
Yes. And then that damage also can be done in an AoE in a massive AoE with the barrel, which is a lot of fun.
Yep. And for those of you who don't know, at max rank, those barrels ignore 40% of your armor.
Yeah. Oh, the potential for Gangplank is just fantastic. I feel like he has such an incredible late game, but he like ramps up like so slow. So it's like rarely do I get to see the fantasize Gangplank late game, because in the early game I feel like it's laning because it's a bit rougher. But love to see it whenever it happens. Love to see it pop up. I think just the potential is amazing.
It's definitely going to be... Oh, I was going to say it's going to be a tough counter pick, but then I see the Malphite come out.
Okay.
Malphite,
Hey, they
so
have
high on armor.
engaged. They have engaged this game.
Ooh,
Oh
that
my goodness.
Renekton might mean that that could be a Gangplank mid lane.
Oh, how interesting.
They have the AP to cover the AD mid laner. They have the Karthus in the jungle. They have the Seraphine. It looks like the
Senna,
Senna gets
Seraphine?
picked up.
What were they calling that? Someone was calling that the pop star Hitler bot lane.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? I said the same thing. It was somebody in chat. I think it was. I don't know if it was this team. I think it was the team manager or captain of Imagine Cloud. I think that was saying that. That was calling Seraphine. I think it was during the preseason scrim. They were saying Seraphine and Senna is Popstar Hitler bot, and I was like, how did you come up with that? I understand the Popstar part. What about the Hitler part? How is Senna Hitler? And then she was saying, no. Senna's not Hitler. It's just that the bot lane is so oppressive. Both of them together, it's oppressive, therefore Hitler. So it's Popstar Hitler. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if that's I'm not sure if that's a thing
I'm
that
not
just by
sure.
that one person. Okay, they made me think that this was this was a thing, and I just was missing out on what the cool kids say. But maybe that was just that one person. I think that was Stubby.
I think this might be a bad time to mention that I'm Jewish. Oh jeez. That's
That's hilarious.
enough of this, Mashugana. Let's I like to have fun.
I think it was Stubby from Imagine Cloud. I'm gonna call them out in general chat right now actually to make sure to ensure that
Oh
this was
god.
not me that came up with it.
I'm gonna keep my eye on general chat here.
Pretty sure it was not me. Okay, there are
If he
ready
says
for
no,
the thing.
if he says no, I just want you to know.
Oh no, it was me.
It was you all along. I knew it.
Really so.
All right, now we are getting into this draft, and we are going to see through the pro drafts we saw. We saw the Malphite get picked up. We saw the Fizz get picked up, which means that this is going to be a Karma support that is going to back the Cephalios, and that will put Hecarim in the jungle. Hecarim is incredibly strong this patch, giving him that third Q stack, making him Q much faster and making it deal a ton more damage. Hecarim is a very good pick right now, especially because the nerfs haven't gone through yet. Patch 12.8 is not here yet, if I'm correct, or 12.18. Excuse me. I believe that patch has not gone through yet, so Hecarim is still a pretty decent pick here. We had a little bit of an issue with that pick. Sleepy Voice had picked Xayah instead of his pick.
Jeez.
This is quite the match we have going on today.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm jamming. I just got a new what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, a new
I love those.
Champion Select Music. Champion Select Music. There's Knight Rider here, and I'm jamming to it. So here we are. We know the picks. We know the bands. They're coming through. Eventually. Yeah. So here in the top lane, we got the gameplay, which I'm very excited for. Captain Holden has been a very solid player on everything they played so far. Looking forward to see how this gameplay comes out. I believe Captain Holden was on the Sejuani and did an incredible. I say they did. That's such a solid job as being the main tank for them last game. Like just tanking it all up, being that frontliner, and they will no longer have a dedicated tank this game. So I think it's kind of a bit of a different style. And this time, all the engage is on the side of Maria's dungeon, it seems like. I mean, except for Seraphine ulti, of course. Seraphine ulti is long enough where that is an engage. That is a better engage than Sona ulti is a little bit shorter range. Seraphine ultimate is definitely an engage tool. That could definitely be engaged, so that's fine. And the
Yes,
Fizz
but
in the mid lane versus Cassiopeia.
you gotta keep your eye out for the side of Puds. And the reason why I mention that is because while that team doesn't have too much engage, they have the perfect poke disengage. They can
Mm,
keep hitting you while they're backing up
true.
and then re-engage on your low HP bars. They have
That's
the
true.
perfect team to make it happen with the Encore. You have the Cassiopeia ult, you
That's
have
true.
Karthus ult, you
That's
have
true.
Gangplank ult,
That's all.
you
Oh,
have
you're right. All these very true.
you have so many tools to play on the back foot and make that your strong suit this
Hmm.
game. Both teams have locked in their champions now, and this is going to be quite an interesting game.
Yeah, looking forward to see how this all turns out. Look at thing. It's a very interesting team comp over here by the side of Pud. This is just fun. This is just interesting. The Gangplank along with the Karthus and the Cassiopeia. And Seraphine Senna bot lane is an interesting bot lane. I always love to see Senna. I think she's just such an interesting champion. Like fasting Senna and then the scaling that she can do late game and stuff like that. I think Senna is a very cool champion. Love to see her. We're back to the Aphelios this time with a different enchanter. Now with the Lulu. I mean, not instead of Lulu, now with Karma. What are the advantages of having being on Karma instead of Lulu? I think it gives them. I think immediately what I think of, it gives them more push in lane. I think that they were getting really shoved out last lane, but
It also gives them a ton more damage.
yes.
Lower HP bars are something Aphelios loves to work with.
Hmm.
Aphelios is one of the champions that instead of building Kraken Slayer, which is so dominant in the ADC meta right now, he continues to build Gale Force. It gives him that little bit of mobility, it gives him that little bit of execute power. And with lower HP bars on the side of Puds in the bot lane, Seraphine's not very HP intensive and neither is Senna. You have so much more poke and lane prowess to get yourself those advantages, to get yourself those kills, and to make Aphelios something to be incredibly scared of this time around.
And yeah, I think they need to do that. I think the Philios was like a potential ticking bomb, but like never really went off. Like Philios had a lot of money, had a lot of CS, but didn't really do much with it. And when it came down to it at the end, ended up just like had that one team fight where they got off the good ulti, and then never again that really happened, and other time it just kind of got blown up. So would like to see to take more advantage because the Phillies were strong like mid game. I feel like if they had been able to take advantage of the Phillies' strength earlier on, then they could have like avoided the collapse. But they didn't really get there, so I would love to see that now. And I think not getting maybe if they don't lose their tower sword, if they don't get shoved in, if they're able to play a little bit more aggressively. Now they have the engage, they can engage their own fight instead of just waiting for it to happen. So maybe they can actually really bring it around here in game two and prove why they are deserving of being third in the power rankings over teams that have a better record than them. So we'll see if this is really if it's fair to have faith in Oz's power rankings. I think
If Maria's Dungeon does manage to pull this victory, I might even say they are second.
that would be huge. That's right, because Puds is currently second, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So if they can get a good a win over a strong team like this, I think that would be really big.
Otherwise, we are looking at possibly these top two teams being pretty consistent throughout the rest of this tournament
Yeah, Spectre
between
and Puds.
Spectre and Puds.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I mean FFC and FFC are and legitimately are actually up there just based off of their
Yes.
score. But the memes continue. We'll see who have they beat FFC. I think.
FFNZ has beat Iron Chefs last week. The week before that, they were actually against Maria's Dungeon. Uh,
Okay.
and then their first week, I don't recall who they were facing.
She's here. Stebby, say it. You're the one that came up with Popstar Hip. What hip? Oh wait, hold up. With Popstar Hitler, right? It was Stebby
We're
that said it.
we're still
And,
on the.
yeah, well, because I needed to prove that it was not me. Now, I did not come up with that because I said, "Oh, they're doing the Popstar Hitler bot lane," and then my fellow caster here was like, "What? Excuse me?" And I needed to be known. I didn't come up with this. Someone else did, and then I took it. See, Stebby said, "Okay, she is confirming, not me. I'm not the originator of the Popstar Hitler."
Debbie, you can't be, sticking up for him. He clearly did the wrong thing here. Just say that it's his fault, and let this war brew.
No, it's not. It's I and the thing is, I felt so violated. It felt like a violation. I got to be on his good side. That's fair. Okay, once again we're gonna do this live. We're gonna pause at 5. Are you loaded in?
Yep, I'm at 5.
Okay, and then we're going to do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, play. 6, 7, 8,
Yep,
9, 10. You're good. Okay, we
yep.
should be good to transition here on the stream. Do a little zoom out. Show the
We're doing it
timers.
live.
Yeah, we're doing it all live because I don't have separate audio things, so we just gotta do it live. It's
Remind me to help you get into voice meter.
voice meter.
They Yeah, it
Did they do that?
basically
Do that
gives
for you?
you virtual audio cables that you can choose what to do with.
Oh, that would be incredible. Or you won't let my
Yeah,
team.
I use it.
Oh, okay, cool. I do have to get into that. I definitely do. I'm just I haven't committed to getting myself into all the production stuff because I was hoping that I wouldn't too often be like I'm supposed to be the emergency producer. Like if we need one, I will show up and do it. But it's not my strong suit. I don't have the greatest computer for it. I mean, my laptop's doing just fine, but it's like I would, and I also don't want to be stuck doing it while I'm also doing administration things behind the scenes and stuff like that. So
Of course.
I'm
Very
just,
a lot of pings coming
I
out here.
saw that.
It looked like we had very deep vision
Oh
placed
my
on the side of
goodness.
Puds.
I just realized how deep that word is. You're right.
Yeah, I
Steppy,
am amazed they were able to get that off.
Steppy, Imagine Cloud is already in the tournament. You know, I won't let your teammates. It's fine. You guys are already in. Now, in terms of being on my good side in terms of administration decisions, now that's a little bit different. However, I mean, I don't play favorites. Okay, it's all objective.
I don't trust
So
him.
if someone joins,
The way he said that, don't listen to a word he say. I don't play favorites. I've only been here rooting for WookieMonster and Marie.
what if I want to play? Oh, well, that's that. Well, that's different. You should probably be on my good side if you yourself as a player want to play. No, I'm kidding. I've definitely had players that were not my how do I say it? Not my favorite, but as long as they follow the rules, they can play. I mean, it's fine. It's even if they're not my favorite. Exactly. But anyways, I just needed to confirm. I wasn't the one that came up with the. I wasn't the first one to in exact Hitler's name. I didn't first come up with it, and I thought that it was a common thing the kids were saying these days. I thought that that's what it was said. Like I thought it was well known that this was called Popstar Hitler, and I
Man, is this
honestly
epic
felt
rap battles
violated.
or am I being punked?
a man called it was a man called Taco Taco. That's not filling me with confidence.
Taco Taco, what a name.
Yeah, look at this
We see
top.
a lot
Look
of
at
that
these
first strike
trades.
gold coming out.
Yeah, there's some
Um,
trades coming up.
For those of you who don't often use First Strike, as it is the second least picked rune in the entirety of League of Legends, First Strike, as long as you get the first hit, will deal stacking true damage and then give you a portion of that damage as gold.
Oh, I had no idea. Wait, who's running? Who's running that right now?
Gangplank.
Interesting.
It does require you to get the first hit, so if somebody hits you at the same time you hit them and their hit is just a fraction faster, you do not get that first strike gold at all.
Interesting. That is a very interesting rune. I did not know that rune existed.
It is the second least picked rune in the entirety of League of Legends.
Makes
Uh,
sense.
there is only one rune that is picked less than that, and that is actually Phase Rush.
Really? Phase Dress is not picked anymore? Phase Dress
Phase
used to be
Rush
so
is the
popular.
yeah, it's only picked on 2 champions anymore.
Hmm.
So we are at that situation that I actually have to explain runes. But speaking of explaining runes, you do see the Conqueror on the side of Cassiopeia. Uh,
Oh, that's interesting.
Cassiopeia does a lot of damage over time, so this gives her a steady heal over time as long as she does manage to proc it. It does require 12 procs to go off, and since she is ranged, she gets one stack every time she hits an enemy.
Hmm. Lucian took it
Uh,
with Nami depending on the lane. Wait, Lucian took first strike? Is that what Stubby is saying? That's
uh,
interesting.
yeah, Lucian Braum would take it because Braum gets that, free extra
Hmm.
stun. Captain Holden is playing this lane incredibly well, though.
Yeah.
Already found himself at an advantage over Sleepy. Now, Sleepy is just trying to play a little bit back. He is technically in this match in a less than favorable matchup until he starts building armor. WookieMonster does manage to get that engage down, but Nerubius is there as well, and that miasma grounds Fizz. And so you're not allowed to play full Trickster while on top of that miasma.
Oh, I didn't even think about that being a movement ability. Of course it is, but it's typically it dodges everything, so I don't really think of it. But very cool. I
Grounding
wonder
is
what group
one
of
of
people just joined our channel, our stream, because we went from like 10 viewers to 16 just now. Hello, new six people. Is that a team? Did a whole team just? Is that Imagine Cloud because Stubby's here? Did a team just tune in? That's what I think just happened.
well, Cool Crab is here. Shout out to Cool Crab.
Hmm. Uh, oh,
Oh,
this Karma skin is nice.
it looks like Fun Phoenix did get rooted there, but not a whole lot of damage is
Hmm.
gonna go down.
Again, I feel like the lack of communication between this new ADC and his team, I think, is sometimes apparent.
It looks like the Gangplank ulti is gonna come out here just to manage to clear the wave so he can back a little bit safely, not missing too many minions. Blyson doing a great job at CSing under this tower. And the attention shift is onto Dragon as we see Hecarim is bot side, Expo managing to pick up a little bit of vision control. And while Everly Jinxed is keeping them interested in the lane.
Oh,
Everly Jinx
oh,
stepping up just a bit here. It looks like he might want to find a little fight, and it looks like he might have found that little bit of a fight
and
as this
WookieMonster.
WookieMonster does go with the dive. First blood
Okay.
is going to go to WookieMonster.
Hey, good teamwork right there. And Hecarim is here too for potentially for a redive. They can get this lane pushed maybe,
It looks
or
like they might want to shift their
the
attention to
dragon.
that dragon.
Hmm.
Uh, First dragon is going to fall at roughly 7 minutes and 45 to 50 seconds, which will put Soul at around 24 minutes.
Okay, is it like 16 minutes later? For
Yes, if
four
I am
dragons.
correct, each of these dragons take just that little bit to spawn, and if I don't know what it is about the 15-minute mark, but dragon just likes to spawn. Oh my goodness, he
Ooh,
tried to steal
he
that.
tried it. He did.
He flashed over the wall, and now he's in a dangerous situation as the Rampage comes out. WookieMonster dropping insanely low, standing on top of that miasma. Nerubius trying to keep this fight going. Its Soul Lady does manage to pick up the kill on
Ooh,
Nerubius. WookieMonster
Expo's
did
dead.
get out, but Expo nowhere to go. The
Yeah.
Requiem does land, but it is going to be Landrin who picks up that kill as well. Did you play back when Riot said that snakes don't need boots?
Yes, back whenever the Cassiopeia
So why
changes
does
came through.
Nami still build boots? How do
That's a
boots make
great,
Corky
yeah,
fly faster?
great question. Nami has feet. Where does Nami have
Why
feet?
can't Hecarim
And her human skin.
why can't Hecarim build two pairs of boots?
True. Splendid staff Nami has feet. Yes. Okay. In that one skin. True.
Wait, she has feet in the skin?
And
That's weird.
and there's like a one skin where she has a foot. Oh, Wookie
Is it the
Monster.
aerial skin? But WookieMonster does come by. He drops the chum, the waters, Fun
Oh,
Phoenix
but they aren't
dropping
able to
very
get
low.
the kill. Unfortunate. Honestly, everything went right there for Fizz. Got the ultimate to attach, went in, did the damage, got the person very low. At least is forcing the recall.
Yes, he did
And
manage to
that
land
is
the
a
Chum the
CS
Waters
advantage there again. But okay, something that Everly Jinx does do is CS.
incredibly well.
Yeah.
Sliacin does take a lot of damage there by its Soul AD, and now we see Nerubius is in the bot side. It looks like this gank is going to happen just a little bit, but not enough mana to keep that fight going as they
Yeah.
back off.
Ooh, blue buff on Karma. I just now realized. When she recalls, she has feet in the skin or in general. I think that's just
Ooh,
that one
Captain
skin.
Holden dropping to half HP in that top side. Landrin is running this mid lane. He is up
Hmm.
36 CS and a kill.
In the splendid skin. Yeah, I don't think we can count one skin as being what a champion is by lore. I think the Mirai, the like the tribe of Vastayan that Nami is, I think they don't have feet.
Ooh, Expo does knock Landrin back to the tower, making sure that Landrin stays safe there. That is very tough, as Expo
Yeah.
is forced to walk back here, and now it
Mm.
looks like his attention is going to be diverted towards that bot side just a little bit. We do see Rift Herald is still up and available on the map. Neither teams have warded for it, and Nerubius is now on this top side.
And
Using the
Expo
vision
is not.
plan,
So
using the vision plan, he sees that there is no wards on this Rift Herald, so he is going to start it.
that's very fair. And Landry potentially comes over to help. Okay, pings, missing pings on the Fizz. They are doing a good job of that now. Look at that deep vision ward. I just realized in the red side jungle
That's
of
right.
the blue team. So
They have
that
a lot of
helps.
wards going down here, but
Nah.
it looks like this top lane is going to break out into a little bit of a fight. He does manage to clear the barrel before Captain Holden has a chance, and now at this situation, Nerubius is going to come top just shortly after taking the rift.
Hmm.
But in the bot side, it looks like we have this fight breaking out between Sliacin and Fun Phoenix versus Expo. Uh, but they do manage to stay safe as WookieMonster is now here. He lands the Chum the Waters. He's going to go in on this engage. Expo is here as
Oh,
well, knocks him back into the tower yet again. But they do manage to pick up that kill. The Rift Herald is going to come down topside. And is this a possible dive?
the ultimate is available from Malphite. Do they die? Oh, but he's very low now.
Ooh,
Oh,
that one Skittle by
yeah.
Karthus.
Oh, sleepy
And
voice.
now the Requiem comes out. It
Oh,
won't be
but
enough.
doesn't. Oh,
Oh, Captain Holden managing to land that auto attack.
I wonder what rune is Malphite running? Is there a rune
Mal
that?
I don't know. It is blacked out on my side.
Yeah, I have also no idea because Malphite is dead. So they said we cannot get that information on Malphite is dead. Says League of Legends. That was like I wonder
Malphite is
if they got additional resistances from doing that ulti. Was my question.
he's just not running runes. Don't worry about it.
I was like, was that ulti? Oh, okay,
Arcane
no.
comp.
Okay, never mind. I'm not sure if there's a rune. There used to be a rune like that, where if you did hard CC, you get like a shield or resistances or something like that.
Yes, that is it is in the tank tree.
Right.
Aftershock.
Yeah.
After hard CC,
Cause
you get a ton of stats that
right.
explode in an AoE.
Cause I was thinking like, what if that ulti saved them? The Malphite ultimate saved them from dying to the Karthus ulti. I don't think Karthus ulti would have done enough anyway. But that would
Yeah,
have been
he just
interesting
need a
if
little
that was
bit
the
more
thought
HP.
process. I would have been impressed by that quick thinking.
Expo is now managing to get caught out here by Landrin. Landrin pumping a ton of damage out on Expo. Fun
Ooh.
Phoenix does manage to pick up that kill, and now it's Landrin stuck in the battle with Sleepy Voice. Nowhere to go. Will be shut down. WookieMonster has now found himself on the backside of this fight.
Ooh.
From the waters lands as Sleepy Voice sits on top. Everly Jinx does manage to pick up that kill.
Oh my
Oh my
God! What?
goodness! He crit! Oh goodness!
Wow! I did not expect that to kill. I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna have some damage done to them, but oh my God!
You and me both, we were just watching that auto attack fly
Yeah.
through the sky. That was crazy. And now this dragon will be picked up on the side of Maria's dungeon.
Yeah. Different tune
Red
this
side?
game.
Red side seems to be the side to play for this game.
Yeah. And all the dragons in the series so far have also been gotten by the team on the red side.
The mountains rise as we see Earth Dragon is going to be the soul this game.
I just realized the team that's up 3 kills and 2 dragons is also down 2K of gold. Where is that gold
And
coming from?
that gold is sitting in the mid lane for the most part as we see that Landrin is still up 53 CS here.
Oh wow, I just saw the CS differential. Yeah, Fizz has decided that to really roam instead of attempting to CS against the Cassiopeia.
And then the rest of that gold difference is held
Top
in
lane.
the top side.
Yeah,
Captain
the
Holden
solo
is up
lanes.
another 30 CS in this situation, and is up that kill and all that turret plating. Not to mention the first tower.
Is Gameplay running the borrow from the shop rune? Because Gameplay currently has negative gold.
Yes.
I was
Uh,
running. I was like, wait, why is there a negative number here?
future investment
Hmm.
is what that rune is called. It allows him to go up to 250 gold in debt.
Okay.
All right. And now Nerubius might have found his way onto WookieMonster in this mid lane. Wookie's dropping insanely low, forced to flash over the wall, but it won't
Oh
be
no, too
enough.
early!
He used the
Too
playful
early!
trickster too early as the
Oh no,
Requiem
Wookie!
kills.
Wookie!
Oh no. I'm gonna have to rib on him with that. Hey, at least I know how to dodge a Karth assault
Oh,
with playful trickster.
oh no.
You know I'm giving you a hard time here, WookieMonster. That is a situation. When you're in that situation, you panic. You
Right.
want to press it as early as possible to
True.
avoid the damage, but you have to wait that countdown.
Hmm.
We have all been there. We've all
Oh,
had that moment.
I've seen it happen a lot. I've seen it happen to my friend. I have a clip of that happening on my stream to my friend playing Zaya, and Zaya ulted way too early to try and dodge something, and then died as soon as they got out of it. It was so sad.
I uh I will be the first to admit I have tried to flash Requiem damage. You know, I've done it.
I'm sure we all have been there, tried to flash impossible things many times before.
You see the Malphite Q coming at you and you flash away knowing you can't get away.
Yeah.
Oh man, tough situations that we all find ourselves in.
Hmm.
But looking at this game now, I want to point out that Everly Jinxed in the spot lane is up 2,000 gold.
Yeah, that's CS. That's CS difference. But unfortunately, as a team, they're still down 3K. Their solo lanes need some help. Fizz has 4 assists. Fizz has been playing for the team. Fizz does not
Yes,
have much money. He's still below 100 CS here, and does not have great ways to getting CS as Aphelios is now in his lane. So Fizz is gonna have to find money other ways. Mostly, hopefully, by
and
some kills.
most Fizz players will be the first to tell you that they don't care about CS as much as they
Hmm.
care about those kills. Chum the Waters does come out onto Nerubius, and now they have managed to find their way on
True.
top of him. They don't seem to be too interested as Landrin comes around the side. And right now, when you see Landrin, you gotta run, man. Landrin is incredibly powerful right now, knows
Yeah.
his way around that champion.
Yeah, the Cassiopeia is a problem.
A
Very
good
scary.
Cassiopeia is terrifying.
Oh yes, 100%. Can really just melt down everybody.
Karthus is also up 40 CS here.
So yeah, they only have like an advantage, and gold is in the bot lane, and it's just not enough an advantage for the team to be ahead.
But the team comp that they drafted together is a very slow and steady team comp. They
Hmm.
want to drag this game out to 30, 40, 50 minutes because that's what they know that's their power spike.
Hmm.
Fizz at that point starts to fall off. Hecarim is going to be one of your only consistent damage dealers at that point in the game because Malphite is building this full tank line and Aphelios
Oh,
will begin to have a hard time. But it looks like the unstoppable force does come out here on Captain Holden. Captain Holden now forced to
probably
be a
not the
little bit on the
greatest
back
target.
foot. Now WookieMonster's managed to find himself onto Nerubius in this fight. It's
Oh
split and
no!
pincered. Landrin's now in a pretty tough situation as the Requiem is going to come out here. One of the turrets is going to fall in the mid side due to the Rift Herald while this fight is still going on.
Unfortunate. You saw the Aphelios ulti yet again, similar to the last game, completely whipped in that team fight, and that's just a large amount of Aphelios' kit in those team
That's
fights
true.
that just not happening. I'm not sure which one that was, but it would have been nice to land either way.
That ulti that he had was it was the Infernum ulti.
Oh no, that would have been huge. That's unfortunate.
That is a situation that is very tough
Yeah,
for Aphelios. That Moonlight Vigil is a large portion of your team fight capability.
yeah.
And now we see Sleepy Voice just showing how tanky he is. He
Mm,
walks down there, eats two separate abilities from the Senna, and it wasn't even enough.
mm. Oh, this is another way for Fizz to get some gold. Going to get some ward gold here.
And quite a bit of it he is going to have. He manages to clear out 3 pink wards and a normal ward with that one sweeper. Very
I'm
nicely
just
done.
failing right now with my cursor. Alright, go away, cursor.
You okay there with your cursor?
Yeah.
And now this bot lane gold difference is growing ever wider as he's up 2,500 gold in this bot side. He's almost the first player in this game to hit a 10,000 gold. Right now he is in battle with Gangplank for it.
Yeah. And the question is, and it sucks. That makes the miss ulti hurt suck even harder, because like that's where the if that's where the concentration of your team's gold is, then we need that concentration of damage to also come from that source. So very important for Aphelios to perform in these team fights.
Ooh, the unstoppable force is going to come out on Captain Holden. Captain Holden now knows
Yeah,
he's in a dangerous situation as he
yeah,
sees two more members collapsing around him.
yeah.
The
Oh,
WookieMonster is going to get on top of this,
oh
but
my
will it
God!
be enough?
No
Captain
way.
Holden is trying to turn this. The parlay does manage to get the kill.
He gets a kill. Oh, that's huge. That is a massive. That is a massive win as far as
I'm
Captain Holt is
sorry.
concerned.
Give me 1 second. I have to take a phone call.
No problem. We're going to see that the Baron is going to get started by Puds off of the collapse off of Captain Holden. So they collapsed on Captain Holden and ended up killing him, but they lost Fizz and they lost the Baron. Puds is 100%. Yeah, that's just an absolute win for them. That's a complete W. They have to be happy with that. Oh my goodness. Lots of damage coming there out of Aphelios. Aphelios lands the ulti this time and shows how much damage he's actually able to do. And the shutdown on the Karthus Requiem is going to come through. And that's a double kill for Malphite and just an overall ace from Maria's dungeon, only losing one and killing five. Huge, huge, huge. That's what I was talking about. That's what they needed to see from the Aphelios. Need to see the damage come through. Aphelios had so much money. It's a large was had a large chunk of this team's money and does a large chunk of their damage. And now we see that that could potentially lead into an inhibitor tower. Maria's dungeon comes roaring back off of that one team fight, off of one ulti landed from Ophelia that just does a million damage. And they get the inhibitor tower, and the health bars are low, so they will be backing off. But an incredible team fight there from Maria's dungeon, off of the back of the ultimate from Aphelios just blowing people up. That was crazy. Yeah, now we see. Yeah, oh yeah, Aphelios does damage. At 11k here, does have the most damage. Does have the most money in the game, and that's our first big showing of just the amount of money and damage that Aphelios is walking around with. Let's see. We have a dragon spawning in 24 seconds to 23. This will be Mountain Drake. Potentially the third one from Maria's Dungeon. The dragons are at 1-2 right now in favor of Maria's Dungeon. And although they have double the kills, they are still down 2k based off of just the CS differential in the top lane and mid lane, the solo lanes. Another ultimate from Philos. This one misses. There's the ultimate from Malphite, but it comes after the Philos ultimate. This is not as clean of a team fight from Maria's Dungeon, but Philos is still able to kill one from over the wall. Captain Holden goes down. WookieMonster does go gold, and WookieMonster is going to go down now as well. And they also take down Hecarim. And it looks like that's going to be a 1-for-2 advantage for Puds, and they will move on to the dragon, and Maria's Dungeon is going to have to give it up as they have lost their jungler. And now it'll be 2 dragons to 2. 2 mountain dragons on the side of Puds, and the Hex Tech and the Infernal Dragon, the first 2 dragons on the side of Maria's Dungeon. And we may have ourselves a series. I was thinking like, oh, it looks like Puds is really dominating here. Maybe having a big advantage here, but looks like Maria's Dungeon is fighting back. But obviously it's not over. Puds is still got the dragon, maybe down 5 kills, but they're still up 3k. The solo lane differential is serious. Also, not just the solo lanes, the jungle too. You see that the jungle CS here, as we see that Aphelios is taking a lot of the CS, it looks like, also from the jungle. But the jungle CS here is just massively in favor of Karthus. Karthus is like 2k ahead of Hecarim. And then another about 1,000 gameplay is ahead of Malphite. And in the mid lane, it's about a 1,200 lead for the side of Puds as well. But a 4k advantage in the ADC position for Maria's Dungeon. So it's kind of all of Philios right now. Ooh, Cassiopeia lying in lurk, being a snake down there in the bot lane. massive ulti there from, like I said, think of the name, Sliason, but Seraphine, the Encore. But still, Fun Phoenix goes down, the Senna still dies, and that's going to be moving on to the Baron for Maria's Dungeon. Oh, WookieMonster potentially getting a pick here onto Cassiopeia. Never mind, Cassiopeia is alive. They are here to fight for this Baron, and Sleepy Voice will go down. The Modifier goes down. There's a +4 from Captain Holding. Captain Holding is looking for the barrels. Gets a massive barrel onto Everly Jinx. And the Felix will go down low, and they will potentially try and go on and finish the Baron. And over the wall goes, goes Fizz, but Fizz goes down immediately to Gangplank.
What a time for me to come back.
Indeed.
That was Baron secured on the side of Pugs, and I did see right at the end there WookieMonster trying to make that attempt over the wall.
Yeah. It's a bit unfortunate. And that was Maria's dungeon that started the Baron, but then they got pushed off of the Baron by Cassiopeia walking up, and then Puzz just finished the Baron. They just got bullied off of it, and then now they also get off the dragon. The dragon, and Expo probably doesn't realize how
Ooh.
many people are actually there. It's gonna have to use the ulti to get out.
He used the onslaught to get out, especially because that dragon came down already, and that is 3 Earth Drakes already on the side of Puds. That is
And now we're gonna
so
see
much
this
extra
objective
armor and
gameplay.
armor.
Objective gameplay.
Alright, now we are into the late game again. This is
Mm-hmm.
another post 30-minute game where one death is a 50-second timer.
Very true.
So what all did I miss?
There was one huge team fight where Aphelios got off the Infernum ulti and blew it up, and then Maria's Dungeon was able to win the fight 5-1, and they were able
Okay.
to push down and get the mid inhibitor turret. As you'll see, the Puzz is missing their mid inhibitor turret. They were not able to get the inhibitor; they were too low, and they got pushed off of that. Then they kind of took that advantage to be able to be in a position to start the Baron, but then got pushed off of it. So now, for a second, it looked like Maria's Dungeon was kind of roaring back into this game. And now it doesn't seem so much anymore. They're down 7K. It just seems like everything is on the back of Felix. Felix just has like all the CS.
Well, as we see there, Gangplank has just purchased that Lord Dominic's Regards.
Yeah,
So
gameplay
now the
hurts.
Hecarim and the Malphite are going to be much squishier to him.
Yeah. See, 1,000 damage crits here on the side of Aphelios. Aphelios hurts, but we need to see Aphelios translate that hurt into one team fights.
And this might be a catch on a Sleepy Voice. He does manage to walk away from that, but not unscathed. The playful trickster
There
does come
is
out. The
the
Flash
ultimate.
Unstoppable
The
Force.
Encore.
The Encore is going to come down as well as the Onslaught comes out. The Dawning Shadow as well. And it looks like this is going to be the double kill for Captain Holden. Senna does manage to pick up the kill. And the Requiem comes out. And both of them are going to die. That is going to be an ace.
Oh my god.
That's a 5-0. They could just look to end this game right now.
Yes, they can. 100%. They still have Baron buff as well. And Seraphine spinning them up and the minions. There's the ace. Oh wait, was Cassiopeia not even part of that fight?
No.
Cassiopeia down in the bot lane. Oh no, that fight's an absolute disaster from Maria's Dungeon.
And now
And now
Puds have
they're
turned
up
their
on-
attention to the Nexus Towers.
Yeah, now they end with the kill advantage, although they were down because the entire time they were up objectively the entire time.
The
And
GGs
there
have
there's
been
the
called.
GGs, and there's Puds with the dominant 2-0 victory over Maria's Dungeon.
My goodness, what a game.
Yeah, strange. You know what? People are probably focused on the kills on the scoreboard and think that Maria's Dungeon was ahead that whole time, but the entire time they were down on gold, so they were actually never ahead the entire time. Next, never were ahead. Let's see if we can get a look at the client here.
I have to say, at all stages of that game, Landrum was such a key player to Puds there. In game one, he played incredibly well in this mid lane and managed to push himself into multiple different advantages. And in game two, while his score line of 3, 2, and 5 may not have looked impressive, you have to think about how much he did with the miasma, how much he did on the back of those ultimates, and just the raw amount of CC he did. He bought the Everfrost, got himself ahead with the just all that CC, you know?
Mhm.
WookieMonster had to leave lane in the early game in order just to kind of put up a fight.
Uh, yeah, very true. Yeah, WookieMonster trying to get bot ahead in multiple ways.
That was a commanding 2-0 from Puds. Great games to both of these teams. Neither of these teams should feel bad about the performance they put in today. It was relatively close. There was, minus past, excuse me, the 30-minute mark. Once the 30-minute mark came, it started becoming Puds' game.
Yes.
But up till that, it was pretty back and forth.
Yeah, especially in game one, for sure. And then this game, yeah, this game there was a big team fight that was looked like Marizens was going to be able to push that to whenever they got the inhibitor tower, but then it didn't really amount to too much more beyond that. They're asking for an interview. Who do you think should be interviewed?
Ooh, now that is the question.
Indeed, it is.
I would say I would give it to Landrin.
I'm not. Instead of just kidnapping them, I will actually ask. Immediately. So, oh, yep, there. Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello,
Landrin.
Landrin.
Mid lane for
Congratulations.
Puds.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Tell me, what was going through your mind in game two, especially after that team fight where you all lost your inhibitor tower?
Um, right after that team fight where we lost our inhib tower was going to my head.
Hmm.
Uh, Honestly, it didn't really feel like we were losing the game at that point. Like we still felt very ahead. Like I'm playing Cassiopeia, we have Gangplank. He's about to hit his Lord Dominic's. Like we just need one good team fight and we can win the game. And obviously, like hindsight, right? But
Yeah, I guess
Right.
in hindsight that was true.
And that Lord Dominic's was a very key pickup as we saw what happened right off the back of having that. Um, what was going on in that final team fight where you were split pushing up the bot lane there?
I was praying that they would come and fight me. I just wanted to fight somebody that whole game, but nobody would do it.
Yeah, if
When
you
the
look at the damage, Landrin actually only has 10k. Landrin has like
I
as
was just
much
like,
damage as Seraphine because it looked
right?
like Landrin never actually fought, but and all the
I'm
fighting was
playing
done by
Cassiopeia,
Carlos and
man.
Gangplank. Yeah, exactly.
I was like, but I saw the Malphite ult, and I was like, guys, just live. And then we won the fight, and I was like, okay, good job.
Yeah,
And
You know.
now, all right. And then let's go back to game one. You were on the Talia. You had landed a perfect wall that stopped their ADC, the Aphelios, from doing anything to kite out your team. What was going through your mind as you walled off arguably the biggest threat on that team?
That's news to me, man. I did not remember that wall at all.
you know, every time that I go through this, everyone forgets game one.
yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it was forever ago.
I felt like my walls were extremely troll that game, so I'm glad to know that
Oh no,
somebody doesn't think that way.
there were definitely some good walls for sure.
Yeah, you see, I play Talia myself, and so
Hmm.
I can recognize a good wall when it happens. Um,
Yeah, just good champion, fun champ.
so how about when in game one you all were doing dragons you were going for soul, and they started immediately rotating to Baron. We saw four of you jump off the dragon completely and start heading up. What were comms like?
That is illegal. They are not allowed to do that, Baron. We get Soul and Baron. Let's go.
And then a fight broke out very shortly after, which led to you all getting one pick and then proceeding to get the Baron. On the backside of that fight, though, right after you claimed the Baron, two of your members were forced to flash away from the Aphelios that was coming up alone by river. Uh, it was a pretty tight fight that you all were putting forward in that game, especially because gold was so neck and neck.
Yeah, I mean it was a tough game that was close. We were really just scared of that Aphelios, man. He was a player. That was fun.
Yes, the
Aphelios.
Philios was a danger pretty much the entire time, but like he had so from our perspective, he had incredible CSing, had a lot of
Hmm.
gold, and hurt if it landed. Did you notice the multiple
He
Philios ultis that did not land? Did
Oh,
you
our
guys were
ADC, our ADC was so tilted that Aphelios landed every 20% crit. Like I swear, RNG is just in his favor. Like that was a.
Yeah, we saw that one like mid lane that we did not expect that person to die to. It's just like we're like, oh my god. Yeah,
We both at the same time
yeah,
let out an oh my god.
yeah. We did not expect you to die, man. That was crazy. That Aphelios fucks. Yeah, the Aphelios also had like nearly perfect CSing as well. I was surprised mostly in the first game because they were getting shoved into the tower, but the Aphelios maintained perfect CS, and I was like, well, that you really don't really expect that. And if something did hit, then they did completely blow you guys up. There was a couple times, but you guys seemed to just play around it just fine. That didn't happen too often that you let Aphelios take over the team fight.
So let's talk just a little bit about these power rankings. You all have found yourself number 2 on the power rankings just below Spectre Gaming. Do you feel you lived up to that today with your performance?
I mean, of course, like we 2-0'd them.
Yeah, 2-0.
But
Yeah.
do you think you can 2-0 Spectre?
Yeah, bro. Like there's
Do
no
you know when you
chance.
do you know when you play Spectre?
We do not know. I mean, I don't know when we play Spectre.
Oh, I can tell you.
Dr-
You play Spectre next Saturday actually.
Oh, excited.
It's
Yeah.
your next match on October 1st.
It
Well,
is
I'm
going to
excited
be a
for a
bloodbath.
good series against Spectre Gaming.
And is there anything you want to say to Maria's Dungeon after the performance today?
GG's. I'm glad for the game, and I'm glad that we actually got to have a game. Like that was
Oh
like
yes, that was a lot of speculation about whether we actually be able to get did they get the last minute sub that Aphilos was a last minute sub that came in and some other people like weren't showing up. So glad
yeah,
that
they
the
pulled
game
through.
actually did actually happen and they were able to get people on the rift and get a game. Love to see that. Prefer to see that. It's always unfortunate if we have a situation where someone has to FF. We would much rather see the game happen and get the game streamed. So thanks for both teams. Thank you guys as well for being willing to delay the match for 30 minutes and do all that. I do appreciate that. So we can actually have the game happen.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Do you have anything?
Congratulations again on your victory.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
congratulations. All right. Do you have anything else, Celio?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, then, with that being said, we will be back at some point. Honestly, we will have games, I'm sure, all throughout this week because there's multiple reschedules. I'm not even sure. I think one of them is happening Thursday. Wait, is that no, no, no? That previously happened Wednesday. We have one happening Wednesday. Magic Cloud versus Shenandoah Esports should be happening Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. And then we should have Fantastic Four. Oh, FFZ and Iron Chefs already happened, and DPS versus Spectre Gaming we are awaiting to figure out when that will happen. So we'll have games happening at some point. And that's it. So that's all we have for tonight. And we're gonna throw a host over to. Oh, he's literally AFK in his chair. Let's just host Mrs. Chim Chim. That's someone who has streamed. Mrs. Chim Chim is now too big for us. She's too popular now, but she used to be around here. She helped us stream before. She used to be a friend of the community. Still a friend of the community. Love to see her blossom into. This is like one of the most impressive like 1 year streaming to partner performances on Twitch I've ever seen. For someone that's just been super dedicated to streaming, playing every day, streaming for like 12 hours a day. And I was remember she used to have like 20 viewers and 40 viewers, and she bumped up to like 100, 200. She got her partnership with the or gaming organization she plays for, and just love her. She's always a fantastic stream to check out. She's currently playing League of Legends. I definitely suggest that you go give Mrs. Chim Chim or Reagan, as is her name, go give her a try. Check her out, shout her out, let her know that you came from the BTL. She should know us, and we will catch you guys whenever we are next live. And that's it for me and Celio, and peace out.